Your Honor, how's everybody doing this morning? I'm here as sui juris and challenge to the jurisdiction of these proceedings, and I do not consent unless, upon proof of claim, the court can prove that it has jurisdiction. I'm the beneficiary, and I would like to appoint you as trustee as per my right to subrogation. I do not understand any of these proceedings, and I'm just trying to ascertain the nature and cause of these proceedings. I'm asking, is the name styled in all capital letters Brandon Whitby a constructive trust or a Sister K trust? Is this court case DC 2051006 a constructive trust? Mr. Sturmer, are you the executor? Your Honor, are you the trustee? Dory Mystic, Miss Guardian ad litem, are you co-trustee? Because I'm beneficiary. I'm here to establish my status and standing. In accordance with the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, I have the right of self-determination. Any assumption that I'm a citizen, person, or resident of the fictional United States is just that, an assumption, presumption, and hearsay. I'm not here to argue any facts. I'm here to accept all charges upon proof of claim that I'm liable. I am willing to provide any credit that I can to offset or discharge these financial obligations or liabilities. Now, why am I saying these things? Why am I speaking like this? Okay. From what I understand, y'all, when you go into a courtroom, well, what you think is a courtroom is actually a private storefront masquerading as a court. It's not really a court. It's not a court of record. It's not even attached to the judiciary. When you read the Constitution, there's three branches of government: executive, legislative, judiciary. These courts that you go into are private administrative courts. They're creatures of the legislature, y'all. Now, that's a problem because there's supposed to be balance of power, separation of powers. Legislative entities cannot create judiciary courts. It's against the Constitution. So why are you going into a courtroom that has been created by operation of colorable statutes? Why are you going into a courtroom thinking it's a courtroom that was created by statute? Just ask yourself that. Okay, so this is just a little intermediary lesson. All right, and I'll come with correct knowledge. We'll sit down and we'll go through this. From what I'm understanding, see, when you get in trouble, they always want that social. Why do they always want your social security number? How come you have to appear in court? The reason why you have to appear in court is because they're trying to create joinder and make you the surety for these bonds that they're setting up. That's why all cases have a maturity date. Especially the kind of case I'm in, the kind of civil case that I'm in. And there really is no criminal cases, y'all. There are no criminal cases. All activities are commercial because they can be regulated by, that's the only real authority that Congress has, is to regulate commerce. So what they do is they made everything commerce, including you. You're a part of commerce, a vessel, some type of cargo. This is what's going on. It all has to do with like trust law, tax law, accounting, and all these things. Yeah. Straight up. Crazy. So, that little rant that I just went on, That's like me entering into a courtroom and for the first time. And y'all gonna find out if it works or not. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. See, I'm gonna go in there in this courtroom. I'm gonna say these things, but before I do, a gentleman always gives notice. So they're gonna be written down. Okay? It's gonna be notarized. I'm gonna enter it into the record. Okay? But once I do that, I'm going to also see they make you pay for a court reporter. There's not one there, especially with COVID-19. They'll have these Zoom calls and these live YouTube streams, which these things aren't recorded. So if there's a decision that's been made and it's not on record what was done, you don't really have any grounds to appeal on. And then it becomes res judicata. Once a thing decided, always decided. And there's nothing you can do. It's a wrap. So if there's some type of judgment or order that goes out that you can't negate by showing your proper standing and status, and you go into default, and there's a final judgment on it, it's over for you. You're done. You go into jail, or you paying that money, or your property is going to be foreclosed on, or a right is going to be taken. A right is going to be foreclosed on. So that's what's going on, y'all. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. It's extra crazy. It sounds weird. It really does. Like when you first start hearing all this stuff, and because we're always taught to believe that, there's this thing called government that, it just has all power and authority over us. And they do. They do have all power and authority over what they created. Did they create you? They created a version of you that you agreed to be on a daily basis by way of adhesion contracts and your chattel papers. Okay. An adhesion contract is like, see, that's why I wish I had my Black's Law in front of me right now. We didn't get into it. An adhesion contract is like a contract that you never knew existed, and you don't get to negotiate the terms of it. So a good example of what I believe an adhesion contract is, let's take a birth certificate, for example. Let's take a driver's license, for example. A marriage license, agreeing to be, and you can act your way into a contract. See, a contract is only binding if consideration is given, if there's a meeting of the minds, and there's a couple other elements that have to be present for a contract to be valid and binding and enforceable by law. But all these adhesion contracts that they have us in, they're not enforceable because they're fraud on the face. It's fraud. There's no full disclosure given. There's no meeting of the minds. They just work off assumptions, presumption, and hearsay. I'll give you an example of what hearsay is. Every time a police officer's affidavit, it's pretty much hearsay. So what'll happen is, you'll have two people get into a fist fight. Okay. Only you and the two people are there, and maybe one other person was there. Okay, the police arrive on scene and they start investigating and looking for informants. You better peep game, yeah. They start investigating and looking for informants. Once they find an informant, they'll start to write down what they say or record what they say. Okay, but that informant gives them this information, and the police officer then takes it and makes an affidavit out of it saying that these are the facts. And then the police officer turns that into the court, turns that into the prosecutor or the prosecutor. The prosecutor then creates a charging instrument and then files it with the court, with the clerk, with the bank. Yeah. See, I'm learning, and I've been studying this stuff for years, y'all. But it's really like coming together now. Like, I had to get to a position to where I'd have to use it. Because before I just learned it, but I've had to use it a couple times, and I found out interesting things when I went through some things. I went to jail on a couple of minor charges once, and I sat in jail for 30 days. And I haven't had a trial or nothing. No, see, you get charged for breaking a statute like, I don't know, resisting arrest. Is it not my right to resist something that I don't feel is true, and then if it's, incorrect? But we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there with that. But they charge you. They charge you, then arrest you. Okay. So you're already guilty. So once charged, you're guilty. You got to prove that you didn't do anything wrong, and there, was not the right procedure followed. But anyway, sorry, y'all, I'm still a little tired. I'm inspired to do this little video. I woke up this morning. It's like three in the morning. But they charge you, take you to the county, right? County jail. Then you get booked. You get booked. Then they set a bond based on your charges. Okay. So these are accounting terms. Has to do with, like, financial transactions when you really start learning this stuff. So it's peak game, y'all. Just a little quick video. Peace.